Yo, what's good, y'all? Overall, this update was pretty big. I'm not gonna lie. We got a lot of nerfs, to Dark Wraith, Brawler, Lancer, and Monk. Berserker got some big stuff. Carnage now hits 20 times. Has a lower base damage, higher energy cost. But overall, Carnage is gonna be a lot more usable. Rage and Power got some nerfs. You get even lower now. It procs external low HP buffs, which is a buff, but you also get a 75% aggro buff for one turn, which means it's really leaning into that risk reward idea. Blade Dancer did get some nerfs, which was low-key needed, not gonna lie. But Assassin got a lot. It's got a new passive, able to trigger the first 25 poison stacks of an enemy from using Stealth Strike and remove the last 25 stacks of poison. Strength stat majority mechanic. If you're a luck majority, it does not trigger. They rework Stealth Strike proficiency. It works like weaponized poison, but if you're a strength majority assassin, then the stacks consumed is 40. If you're any other majority assassin, then you gain the weaponized poison passive of consuming 25 stacks. Stab, increased crit chance, base 40% more. Poisoner now only applies 5 stacks of poison, which was 3. Poison fan damage, they increased the strength scaling and they also gave it luck scaling, which makes luck assassin really good. But they reduced it. I don't know. That's confusing me a little bit. But it now also applies 5 stacks of poison instead of 3, which is a buff. And they also reduced the cooldown. So it might be one of the best classes in the game now after this update. But Stealth Strike does only apply 2 instead of 3 now when having poisoned. It also applies 3 stacks poison if the enemy is cursed. And they reduced the scaling a lot, bro. Toxic Vitality applies more poison. The Poison Fan Mastery gives a 10% damage boost instead of a 15. But it now applies 10 stacks of poison. Shadow Form Mastery only applies 3 stacks. Now applies 3 stacks poison on your next attack. So overall it was pretty big. Curse Enchant got some nerfs. This was pretty expected. Chaos Orb got like sort of a nerf, not really for me because my brawler is a Doulahan because I got the strats, bro. Shifting Hourglass got buffs, I think. Yeah, I got some decent buffs. P-Tent also got some buffs, which in my opinion kind of needed. Felt a little bit bad, but now it feels pretty decent. Astra got some nerfs, finally. Dragon Memoir also got a rework. It works with Magic Missile now, which finally I can run Dragon Memoir on my Elementalist, bro. And then, so the first hit will only apply bleed. But after that, the next 3 strikes will apply Fractured for 2 turns. But yeah, it does work with Magic Missile now. Fracture now works with Arcane. 3 strikes of Fractured will apply bleed for the rest of the fight. So I don't know. It's interesting what they did with it. I feel like a lot of people aren't going to be running it now, but we'll see. They made it to where Soul Absorb has to be used at 2.5% HP or lower instead of 5. So it's not going to be like comp against like MV and shit now. Holy Light no longer grants resist, which it was kind of busted that it did before. And they also did a rework of Surprise Package, which is pretty interesting. It plants a bomb on the target for 3 turns, and if they take more than 30% damage, 5% for bosses, in those 3 turns, then it explodes, forcing a special status effect that differentiates based off the affinity of the attack. So physical / magic, 35% of damage dealt is added as extra damage to the current enemy. If it's fire, it's 15% of damage dealt is added as extra fire damage to the current enemy, inflicts 10 flame. Holy grants 1 resist to all party members and heals them for 10% of their max HP. Ice inflicts 6 frost on all enemies and reduce their defense by 5% for 4 turns. which is low-key kind of good. I wonder if Frost enchant on like a luck class might be like kind of comp now, but there's also Poison, which inflicts 20 poison, which this could be comp on Assassin, and it applies to weaken. Hex applies 1 hex and deals 100 true damage to the current enemy, which is kind of good. Dark applies 3 vulnerable, 3 weakened, and disables dodging for 4 turns, which is really strong actually. That's gonna be really good on Luck Wraith, holy shit. And then Nature triggers restructure for the entire party, which is nice. And it removes 1 negative status randomly from your party. Other than that though, it's just like some small changes. Stuff down here. And then they also did a bunch of bug fixes up here. I'm a little bit mad that they didn't touch Elementalist at all, but overall it was a pretty solid update other than that. For those watching the video, the same night the update came out though, I'm going to be progging an Assassin build live on stream, so make sure to check out the channel and do that. And with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.